Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man who is inside. Pull back and tell him to take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. So look at this play. What we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Are we having fun yet? Welcome into the Packers Total Access post-game show. What an amazing win by the Green Bay Packers at home opener against the Saints. They come out victorious 18-17. And I'm going to tell you something, Tim, 17-0 at halftime, the Saints led. And Jordan Love, I'm going to say it, Jordan Love looked like cheeks. And then he comes out in the second half, specifically the fourth quarter, and says, you know what, guys, just get right here on my back. Let's roll. That read option, I'm surprised I have a voice. And my dogs were looking at me like, what in the world is wrong with you? Tim, initial thoughts, man. How you feeling? I know Jacob will join us here in a minute. We'll probably have all kinds of guests hop in here, but how we feeling?
I'm ecstatic. This team just established its identity, man. This is what's so great. Like you said, we were talking offline. This is what's so great about having a young team. And my wife called it, man. She said Jordan Love's going to take this into the end zone. She saw it happen in a couple snaps before, and I was kind of waiting for it too. And what finally a perfect play and a perfect time to call that play, down and distance situation, and then the zero hesitation for Lafleur to play the metrics and go for two is just this is why we won this game today. It really is at the end of I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And you know, the other thing too on that read option, what you're doing is you're isolating. You guys heard me talk about it all offseason. Like, I think we're going to see some read option from Jordan Love. What you're doing is isolating the option defender. Some people call it the force defender. Basically, the defender that's reading the read option. Right, he's going to choose stay with the QB or go with the running back. For whatever reason, they didn't have the hat count. And I got to go back and watch the tape. I don't like to say this stuff, you know, right off the bat without watching the tape. But they did not have the hat count initially, right? And Jordan makes a guy miss too, if I remember correctly. It's all one big fog at this point. But Mike Hebring in the chat says, sign Love to that long-term deal. He is him. Love it. Appreciate the super chat, Mike. Thank you, buddy. And we got Joyce with the super chat, says, yes. That's all we need. Just yes. That's it, guys. We're going to wrap the show up right there. Jacob, how you feeling, my man?
Bro, I'm really glad that I stuck it out. If you guys don't know, I live on the border of Wisconsin, Minnesota, so my freaking team gets blacked out, even though I pay Wisconsin taxes. I don't want to get into that again, but so I had to go down the road to the Buffalo Wild Wings. And I don't know about you guys. I absolutely
shout out Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I absolutely hate watching the games in bars just because you can't hear anything. You know, everybody's screaming. And I had the stereotypical fans around me, from both sides. I had Vikings fans just talking all sorts of you know what. But then I also had a bunch of Packer fans right off the bat talking about Joe Barry sucks. Look at how far off the ball they are. These guys don't know how to run the ball. Jordan Love isn't that guy. Jordan Love, blah, 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 blah. It was just really, and half of those people left the bar, you know, left the viewing area, went home. And then by the time that they probably got home is when the Packers started playing ball, when we started selling, and when when Jaden Reed started actually catching some of those balls. I mean, we can get into stuff that didn't go well, and I'm definitely going to have a little bit to say about him. But, I mean, you can't argue when it came down to it, man, that the team showed up, they stepped up. They found a little adversity, and I couldn't be more happy again. Unsung hero to me of the game, Anders Carlson. He made every extra point. He made the last-second kicks. He made the stuff that we needed for him to keep us in that game. And the guy has shown literally no signs of him going so bad. He was so bad. You guys remember how bad he was in the preseason? And in the off season, I mean, we were all sitting here talking about how we were going to pull the emergency, parachute because I'm just excited, dude. And to see it, it was probably about 70% of the restaurant was all Packer fans. To see when we actually won, when that kick went right, man, people went freaking nuts. People were hugging everybody. It was great, dude. I missed that. It was good.
I was standing by my TV in the garage screaming, block it, shank it, block it, shank it, block it, shank it.
Yeah.
And then he shanked it.
It's so nice to be on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? Like a special teams play losing the game. But I want to say this, like Mark pointed out in the chat, for those of you listening on the pod, the super chat that Joyce just gave us was $18.17. So Packers 18, Saints 17. Pretty cool stuff.
I see what you did there. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the press conferences live. The only problem is, to the best of my knowledge, I can only crank it so high. So you guys probably won't be able to hear it. If you guys want me to try that, we can. Or we could just roll with the chat and just kind of go through the statistics and talk about the game flow, all that stuff. I just hate that the Packers media team are afraid to turn it up. But anyway, so obviously it was just like last week, gang, the tale of two halves, right? This time it went in our favor in the second half. Obviously the middle eight, we lose the middle eight 3-0. I think we lost the turnover differential too, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that. But that second half, man, you could tell they came out and listen, I don't want Jordan Love to have to pass 44 times a game. His completion percentage is only 50%. So let's please don't sit here and convince ourselves that Jordan Love had a great game. He didn't by no stretch of the imagination. But what you're seeing is kind of this expanded version of what we talked about both in the preseason, and really it's kind of that thing where when the game's on the line, when it's a crunch situation, he seems to just be more comfortable than he is throughout the rest of the game. Last week in that fourth quarter, I was going, man, was that a fairy tale? Did I convince myself that was Jordan Love in this young career? Today, you've seen it. He wanted the ball, and he just took over, man. Romeo Doubs, they just kept going to him, finally got him to throw a flag eventually. Jaden Reed.
Cow, yes.
Jaden Reed, great job. Luke Musgrave had a good day. Luke Musgrave, quietly, guys, 8 targets, had 6 catches for 49 yards. Like, that's a decent day for a tight end in Green Bay, no doubt. But Romeo Doubs finishes the day with 5 catches, 73 yards. Again, 12 targets. They were forcing it to him. We haven't played a complete game yet, and we should be 3-0. Now, let me give a negative real quick. And again, Joyce, thank you so much for the super chat. Mike, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you all so much. Let me give a negative. We left 9 points on the field by not kicking field goals. So put that in perspective. We should have won this game by 10 points. And I know if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I got you. But those things matter. And somebody said, well, are you sure you would have hit them all? Would he have hit 2 or 3? Right? There, Mr. Negative Nancy. Would you hit 1 of 3? Because if you hit 1 of 3, then, we would. You understand what I'm saying? Like that drives me insane. And in the past, it's just been constantly, well, that's just Aaron forcing Lafleur to go for it. I thought that was the case too. I believed it. And it's obvious that it's Matt Lafleur. But outside of that, man, this team, they stuck together. They stuck together big time. Through the penalties, there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't have won this game. Turnovers, yeah. We lost the turnover battle. Yep. We lost the turnover battle 1-0, and we lost the middle 8 3-0. That's 2 weeks in a row that a 93% probability statistic has went against the grain, and it was during a Packer game. That's just blows my freaking mind.
Did you guys notice? Am I crazy? Because I hate being the guy that's, the refs. But I could not understand what kind of game they were calling, because it seemed like that they would call a pass interference, and it's like that was kind of minimal contact. And then it'd be like the next play, guy doesn't turn his head around, draped over him, pulling Tay Wicks's jersey literally across his body, and they're like, let him play. And then the same thing with holding. It seemed like they were very nitpicky on certain calls, and then other calls you'd see guys getting tackled basically in the backfield, and you're like, well, what are they trying to? I just couldn't see. Usually. Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead. I was going to say, we got the B team all around. We got the B team with Fox coverage today. We got the B team with the officiating crew. It was not consistent. I was asking myself, was there a rule change I was unaware of? I thought the defender has to at least play the ball, track the ball, turn your head around,
Exactly.
look for the ball. And then you're hearing Fox analysts saying, oh, he played it perfectly. He didn't even touch him. And it's like, well, if you call pinning his left arm down.
You know who said it? Jonathan Vilma, former Saint. Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
It's
shocking. It's shocking. But then we're watching the replay, and it's like, wow. And then to Romeo's credit, he almost got up there and got it anyway.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm going to here, while I mention Romeo real quick, because I'm so excited. It dawned on me today. We were talking about like who comparisons, like who's Romeo is. Is he kind of like a Greg Jennings? What type of receiver is he? That dude is sterling sharp, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, complete package as a wide receiver, in my opinion, all around the board, and absolutely clutch. So, but yeah, it was nice to finally get some flags. I mean, we went through 50% of that game where there was everything was on us, and it was a lot of stupid mistakes. We can't overshadow that. Like, obviously these guys made some rookie mistakes out there today for most of those penalties, but I agree. The PI, there were a lot of non-flagged PIs and then holds and some things that were flagged that were kind of questionable. So I'm with you on that, Jacob.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what's crazy? It was this very week, September 20th, 1992, that Brett Favre had his come from behind victory, filling in for an injured Don Mikowski. Think about that, man.
Cincinnati game, I think.
What's that?
So wasn't that the Cincinnati game, the one where he comes in for?
Yeah, that's what I said. Packers versus Cincinnati, Lambeau Field. I believe it was the home opener that year, and it was a 1:00 game. And like I said, it was played on September 20th. Obviously, today is the 24th, so it would have been the same week. And I'm trying to get some statistics pulled up here because I just want to see. I want to see what the box score looked like, if I can here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Favre was 22 of 39 for 289 and 2 touchdowns. So a little bit different stat line. But I was just looking at that going, holy cow, man. Holy cow. Let's go to the phones real quick. We got Dakota in Tennessee. Dakota, what is up, my man?
Dude, my spirits. I'm going to go with that answer right there.
Who are you giving the game ball to, Dakota?
Oh my gosh. Doubs. That's what I'm gonna do. I know his name's Doubs, but still, that guy. He reached out and he cheated. I don't know what it was. I don't know what series of up, down, left, right, whatever they did. The Konami code. That man reached out and plucked that ball out of the air. I don't even remember who was guarding them, but man, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it was a heck of a game, man, no doubt. We're getting a little bit of an echo on your end there, Dakota, but it's all good. What else you got, man? What do you like you said, Doubs? You got him as your player of the game. What do you think the difference was, man?
You mean the difference in
the game? Like what? How did the Packers come back and win this game?
Man, I just don't. They're young and they don't lose heart, right? So I just think they kept at it, and eventually something hit. The second the drive started going, they didn't make that penalty that usually killed the drive, and it raised their spirits, and they just kept it going.
Yeah, no doubt. Tim, it's kind of what we talked about, right? You kind of feels like we're going to get that this year with this young team.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's anything at all that is shocking. We knew we were going to see procedural penalties, false starts, a lot of things, miscommunications, those kind of things. But to Dakota's point, what you really wanted to see is what we did see, which was this team not quit despite injuries. We lost multiple guys today. Yeah. And so did the Saints. The Saints had issues too, and hopefully Derek Carr is okay. That shoulder, Rashan gave him the power slam there at the end of the sack. We hope guys are healthy, but every team faces the injury bug, and I just think it was great to see. We had guys dropping left and right during this game at times, and everyone banded together. and got it done in the trenches when we needed it. So it showed us who this team is. They are, never out of it. If you needed a reason to believe in this young team, we got a couple of them today, despite the several negatives and learning moments that we have from this game. At the end of the day, the most important statistic is the one that we got, which is the dub.
Yeah, no doubt. Goose in the chat said, let's give them something to talk about. Let's talk about love. I love it. Yeah, the Lions did win, like Carly Ray was saying in the chat. The Lions did come away victorious. So we're still, to the best of my knowledge, in first place in the NFC North. And, of course, coming up this week, short week, I think it's Thursday night, right, Jacob? Is it a Thursday night game?
Yeah, and if you guys remember, or I shouldn't say remember, I think if you keep in mind, I believe that's got to be the reason. I would bet good money that all four of those guys today, with Jair, Watson, Jones, and Bach, I bet that all four of them play on that Thursday night game. And that, think about how impactful this win is, not just because of the come from behind, the overcoming the adversity, the fact that we played, like Clayton was talking about, 2 different halves. It's just the fact that we did this in a game that I don't want to say that the coaches kind of said, if we lose this one, we lose this one, but that they were looking ahead to the Lions, the divisional matchup, and saying that game's more important. If we have to make a call right now on the health of our superstars, we want them to play in a little bit, maybe give the guys just a few more days to heal up. But whatever their rationale and their reasoning was, it's a massive win for so many reasons. The come behind victory, the bonding. You could see, like you talked about, Clayton, when Jordan ran in that, I don't remember if it was the fourth down player that's the 2-point conversion, but yeah, he evaded pressure. He should have been sacked or behind tackle for a loss. He did the little pull the ball over the guy as he dives in, and you can see that he does have that kind of killer mentality that when the game's on the line, he wants the ball, and then once he succeeds or once he has a good play, you can see his mentality and his whole vibe kind of go into that, like, again, like the laser eyes, like the meme. He just gets honed in and he's like, let's go. And he seems like the game and the moment is never too big for him. And I'm super excited. So the same freaking guys that were sitting next to me talking about, Aaron Rodgers would have made that pass, and at the end of the game, they're literally screaming, "Oh my gosh, look at the run! Yeah, he's a good kid. He's got a good." And I'm like,
yeah, love this kid. Always believed in him.
I want to open up a sports bar called Casuals.
and it'll be 90% Bears fans. Dakota, what else you got for us, buddy? Anything else you want to hit on before we let you go, man?
Yeah, I just got a couple things. The one thing I'm really curious about, did y'all see that last, I know you did, but that last extra point that Anders kicked? Somebody took their towel, I swear, threw it up and tried to intercept that kick midair. And I don't know, I want to look at it again. I just saw that towel flew much higher. Do what?
I said, is that legal?
That's what I was wondering. I'm very
that cannot
curious.
Possibly be legal. No.
I can't imagine it.
Not at all. But no, I'll leave you on this. This might have been the perfect outcome for this game. I mean, we had almost none of our starters on offense, and of course our starting cornerback, though he has had struggles this year, but still it's good to have him. We didn't have any of them, so a bunch of our depth got a lot more playing time. They got more experience. They made a whole bunch of mistakes, but still squeaked out with the win. Even coaching made mistakes. I'm specifically talking about offensive coaching, but even coaching made mistakes that they won in spite of. And I'm just hoping that not only did we get this win, but we also learn a lot from it, and we can see that those lessons being implemented from here on out.
Nah, very well said, man, for sure. We appreciate you calling in, Dakota. You are the man, buddy.
Absolutely, y'all. We will talk to y'all later.
All right, have a good night, man.
All right.
That was Dakota in Tennessee. And we got Lucky in the chat. Says, how many pass plays did Love finally get? LaFleur's run game is on life support. Go, Pack, go. So about that, Jordan Love was the leading rusher today. 9 carries for 39 yards, averaged 4.3 a pop with 1 touchdown. Probably the most important running play of this young season so far. A.J. Dillon, 11 carries, 33 yards. Guys, it was all in my notes in the first half. You're trying to get too cute in the running game. It's It's exactly what Mike Wall was talking about. And I don't mean to be negative. Like, we got to talk about the good. We got to talk about the bad, right? The reason we were down in the first half, first of all, you're choosing to not kick the field goals. The running game, when they run a pistol strong toss, it's like you understand the defense is playing the strong side, right? Like they're kind of keying in on the strong side. And I'm not suggesting they should run a weak toss. I'm simply saying like you're literally tossing the ball horizontally on the strong side of the defense. And Josiah DeGuara is the lead blocker who has been grading out in the 40s. Like it's just you're trying to do too freaking much. Did you see them run between the tackles, Tim? Every time they ran between the tackles, it seemed like you were getting anywhere from 4 to 8 yards, right? Yeah. And then you would try this little, the Emmanuel Wilson throwback on fourth down. Say you need 2 yards. And we literally run the ball, toss the ball right, sprint it over 8 yards, then throw it all the way back across the field. There's just – I understand it was a good call, and if they had executed it, it'd be a first down. But it's like there are so many things that can go wrong on that play.
I would have rather have seen that play like to start a drive or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that was frustrating. But again, in the end, I'm eager to hear what Matt Lafleur has to say. And like I said, we probably won't go to it live, but because you guys won't be able to hear it, it'll just be dead air. But yeah, I'm eager to hear like if we clean that stuff up and get away from the pin and pull and the toss plays and all that junk, and just run between the freaking tackles, especially when it's A.J. Dillon. Like, if it's Aaron Jones, I get it. He can make magic happen on the edge. But, yeah, Garrett Stritzel with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you supporting the stream. We got Mike Hebring again, said Zach Tom went out late with a knee injury. Have you guys heard that? Anybody heard that?
Oh, no.
Carrington Valentine, though.
Valentine bicep, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard about Elton Jenkins yet. We'll see if we can come through and get you guys an answer for that.
Can I disagree with you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I didn't mind that. Usually I hate when they get too cute, but on that specific one where they did the toss over to Wilson and then he threw it back, that play fell completely apart and still should have been a touchdown. Do you know what I'm saying? If Love even still, I don't know how he overthrew that ball as he's sliding. Most people, that's a guaranteed underthrow because you just don't have the torso power to actually put any torque on the ball. I couldn't believe that he had time. Again, he should have freaked out, but he didn't. He still had the time to like look down, grab the ball, was able to look up, realize, hey, I still got a guy streaking down the sidelines who's wide freaking open. So then he's throwing, I just, if everything goes perfectly, we're saying that was one of the most pretty play calls I've ever seen. It's an ESPN, and they're talking about how Jordan Love is, still perfect, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, I thought that the play was cool and would have worked, should have worked, almost did work, even though it looked like on ice skates out there. I don't know. It was bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If we had lost that game, that's probably the play I'm pointing to and going, what the heck were we thinking? Why?
That's kind of the Mike Walls point, right? Like You're asking, it's not just the offensive line. You're asking a rookie running back to throw a pass back to your court, and you're wondering. We're all wondering why that pass was underthrown. Now, yeah, we can argue if the pass to Jordan was right on the money and that play is all about timing, like we know. Jacob's absolutely right. That's 100% a touchdown, more than likely, But it's like, what are we asking our guys to do? We need to simplify a bit and just play hard. And I think that's what we kind of did when we went hurry up towards the end of the game. The minute we went hurry up or we went tempo, everything started to change for us.
Yeah. I
mean, I can't wait to rewatch it, but that's my gut reaction. I remember feeling that way just, about an hour ago, right? So
Did you notice too that up until basically into that fourth quarter, I kept seeing red on the time clock. We're snapping the ball with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left. And I'm like, I thought we were getting away from this. I thought the whole point of that, like, up-tempo.
I've been screaming it for the last 12 months. This is LaFleur's offense. Like and the reason I know that's because when I watch McVay, it's right down the same vein. Like this is LaFleur's offense. Nothing has changed. If anything, I would venture to say if you went and looked at the numbers, there's less motion this year so far than there has been. It's just like Mike Wall was talking about, the majority of the motion is on inside run plays, and that screws everything up for the offensive line. It's not that it screws it up, it just makes things more difficult, right? And again, I don't want to sit here and complain about a win. I mean, it was just an unbelievable win, comeback win. Jordan Love showing that in crunch time, he can make things happen. And again, these young receivers stepping up, which is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, this is Lafleur's offense. You know, it's like the fourth down, guys. Last year, people were saying it was Aaron Rodgers was the reason they were going for it on fourth down. Yeah, I'm sure you guys remember, right? It was, why don't they kick a field goal? He's overriding Aaron because Aaron made the comments, whatever, in the offseason, that they chose to kick a field goal rather than, go for it or what have you. And I bought in too. I think we're all convinced now, right, that Lafleur is the one who wants to go for it on fourth down. I think we're all on the same page now. But that stuff, that's what bothered me more than anything, was leaving those 9 points on the field, or 6 points, or even 3 points. Is like, we know this is a young team. We know they're going to be in a lot of close games. Take the points. But again, I'm kind of a boring football fan when it comes to that. Let's go to the phones. We got Emilio in Tennessee. Emilio, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, fellas. So just to hop Clayton, yes to Matt LaFleur wanting to go for it. I think he's trying to set a tone with the team. But they, when it doesn't work out, we kick them for it. Mm-hmm. Second to Tim, yes, it did seem that, like, when they were on their toes, when we were pushing the fast-paced offense down the field, they were struggling with it. And to back up Jacob's point, I was at a Wild Wings because they stopped. The Atlanta game went up into Knoxville, so it clouded me out. So we had to go to a game, and there was a few fans there, and 2 or 3 older couples left by the third, and then fourth we just started turning it on, and they found out it was my birthday, and they started sending me double daddy sodas, and
no.
And so it ended up being good. We had a good time at the end there, but we started high-fiving and everything. And like the one dude was saying, he said, man, I thought, LaFleur was kicking himself for going for that too, but it ended up being the deal breaker for us breaking that 18-17. And I was like, it's exactly right. We kick them for going for fourth down all the time and wanting to be aggressive, but sometimes that pays off. But like you were saying, if he's so aggressive that we're not taking 9 points when we could have it, that's more of an issue. So it's just finding that balance. And I think he was trying to just make a statement, being at home and being at Love's first game, that he wanted the win for the team and Love just as bad as everyone else did. So it was tough, but I'm excited.
Very well said. Did you guys see Jordan Love run back? Like, when he scored the touchdown, everybody's expecting a Lambeau leap, and he I don't know if he waved the kicker off or what, but he's going back and he's like telling everybody, get off the freaking field.
Yep.
Get off the field. We're doing
all business.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Love it. Okay, and then of course when they take the field after they get that final turnover, right, and they're going to kneel on it, did you see him pumping the crowd up?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
How can you not be just goosebumps right there?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Eric Sutherland in the chat says accuracy is an issue, but man, the kid handles pressure like a champ, unfazed. Completely agree, man. Hey, that's one pelt on the wall, right? That's one notch in the belt there. Absolutely love it.
We did see a couple of throws that looked like they were terrible, but it was receivers cutting routes or not finishing them also. So not to defend too much, but there were some errant throws, but I did see a lot of just busted routes too today.
We saw more than to Tim. I thought we saw more of perfect thrown balls with absolutely perfectly timed defense, where at the last second they just ripped it out, and it was just a good play. I mean, look at that pass to Reed, and I know people are giving him crap about he did have a few bad drops, but that touchdown, I mean, there's not much more he could have done with that. I mean, that was just a great ball, a great catch, and the guy played it well and ripped it out at the last second. But
yeah, definitely,
it was good.
And to Jacob's point, even the pick that he threw to Doubs, if that bump didn't happen 10 yards down the field, into the defender, he would have had that timed up pretty much spot on. Yeah, it would have been contested with the safety coming across, but it still would have lined up time wise with Doubs catching that.
Yeah. Definitely. Cheesehead Murph said that INT looked like it was out of frustration. Completely agree. And also, if you go back and watch that, and again, I don't like to say this stuff without watching the tape, but to me, it looked like 15 yards into the route, Doubs gets smacked. And it's like, that, my friends, is called illegal contact. Where's the flag? And that caused him to come up short. And you've seen Jordan even asked him for it, but never like to mention calls, in the game and determining the outcome.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit frustrating seeing all those penalties because, again, the majority of them were called on the Packers. What else you
You
got
have to
for us?
remember, though, with young players, though, right? They're not established yet, and they don't really have, you get veteran players that these officials have, presided over several games of their career. Guys, we know that. That's no secret, right? So
Right.
certain guys get calls, get benefit of the doubt. Well, when you've got a bunch of first-year and second-year guys that are still establishing themselves, I think that's kind of what we saw today, or it's just plain old bad officiating and it was inconsistent,
Yeah. Mark in the chat says 2 missed passes to 88 were touchdown potential. What's crazy is those were the only 2 targets that he didn't catch, too.
Yeah.
Think about that. Luke Musgrave, I'm telling you, he's going to be a problem. He gets his feet underneath him. It's going to be game on. And you could hear the announcers bragging on him a lot, right? As Kansas City just went up 7-0. Let's see if they hit the extra point. They're up, so he might have missed it. No, he got it. 7-0 over the Chicago Bears. So that's good news there. Let's beat up on those Bears while we're live here. Emilio, you got anything else for us, buddy?
I missed the seam to Musgrave. I was listening to the radio on the drive to the place, but besides that, I was happy with Rashan. What, 3 sack day? I mean, we needed it. We needed one of the elites on our team to step up. Ja was out. I mean, somebody had to come through and help. We didn't get the turnovers we needed, but we got the defense that we needed, which was all we could ask for in that moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Rashan Gary had 3 sacks and 4 quarterback hits, I believe. So
he looked as close to 100% as we've seen him in recent memory. So
definitely. Right. And you've seen a little bit of Lucas Van Ness today too, which it tells you he's healthy, right? So nothing to worry about with that elbow. It doesn't sound like Preston Smith. I think he had a decent game. This defense, can we get some freaking love for Joe Barry? Held this offense to 10 points. 10 points.
Yep.
And then everybody was like, "Oh, this is when they collapse. This is when they collapse." Right at the end of the game, what did they do? They stood tall, right? Stood tall and forced a long field goal.
And that's
so proud of that team.
Special.
What's that, Emilio?
I was just saying, and that's it. We gave them 7 points with the special teams because no one wanted to stay in their lanes when they were covering a punt. I mean, it happens, but it's not anything that Rich Bisaccia, assistant head coach, wants to happen. If our special teams is supposed to be that elite,
Yeah. No doubt. Zane Strong in the chat said, hit that like button, PTA Posse. Yeah, we would appreciate that. I don't promote that stuff much. I don't say, hey, man, hit like, subscribe. But if you guys could, that helps the stream out a lot. I've had a lot of people say, hey, had this randomly pop up on my feed. And it's typically those videos that got a lot of likes because it's thrown into the algorithm a little bit more so other Packer fans can find this stream. But which things are cooking. It's absolutely awesome seeing everybody jump in. We got a ton of new PTA Posse members. But Emilio, you got anything else before we let you go, man?
No, I think that's it.
When was your birthday, man?
Yeah. It is my birthday. Yep, 9/24/95.
Hey, happy birthday, Emilio. It doesn't get any better than that, dude.
I'm not 40 yet. But
Not a man.
Yeah. But, no, they were feeding them to me, so I'm glad.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting there.
You're getting there, man. Hey, no, stay young, dude. What was it like a Billy Madison? Stay young.
Yeah.
Stay there forever.
Don't ever grow up.
Don't ever grow up. Oh, look, Billy pees his pants too. Emilio, we appreciate you, buddy. Happy birthday. That's got to be an awesome birthday getting the dub like that.
Yeah, it was looking, man, it was looking rough, 17-0. As everyone else is cashing out and going home, I was like, man, I don't have it at home. I might as well just sit through it, and glad we did.
I love it, dude. Willing to go down with the ship, man. That's what it's all about.
Have to.
Appreciate you, buddy. You have a good night. Happy birthday, man.
Thanks, fellas. You too. Appreciate it. Go Pack.
Take care, pal. That was Emilio in Tennessee.
Clayton, did I tell you that Justin all but basically bought us the tickets to go to this game, and we all kind of said, "Nah, man, we're good. We don't want to go." And at halftime, Justin was in our group chat being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that we almost paid money to go see this." And then I haven't talked to him since the end of the game, so I'm wondering now. That's good. He was all about it, man. He wanted us all. He wanted even Paul to go, the Viking fan, and he was gonna. So,
yeah. Carly Ray said, I'm kind of salty I didn't start Doubs in my fantasy league. Hey,
I did.
that would be my luck. That's exactly how it goes right there. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. Well, let's do this. Well, here's a good one. Mike Haberding, Joe Barry's defense stayed tough, held the Saints to 10 points on offense, 1 third downs. Saints go 4 for 14 on third downs, only 252 total yards allowed. And they really stepped up big. And you got to do. We all have to put it into context that, hey, look, we know Derek Carr went out, in that game. What's his name? Jameis Winston. I don't know why I want to say Williams. I almost said Jameson too. Boy, what we were talking about. Never mind. But yeah, he throwing that one back shoulder throw, kind of picking on Ballantyne there, which if that had been Carrington Ballantyne, I think he might have had a pick or two in this game. I wish he'd stayed healthy. But it's obvious now, like we said, we're learning how to read between the lines, Tim. We talked about how, Ballantyne was elevated. That gave us a tip that Jair was probably going to be inactive. We talked about that yesterday. And, man, Joe Barry, give him props, dude. Rashan Gary's got to have player of the game for me. It's between – I can't give it to Love because 50% completion percentage. He struggled most of the game. He definitely would get the Dog of the Week award. But as far as the guy who had the most say in this game and getting the victory, I would have to give it to Rashan Gary, man. He just stayed relentless all day long. Let's go to the phones. We got Andy still stuck in Kansas. Andy, how you doing, bub?
Very good. I'll be heading up north this week, so I won't be stuck in Kansas come tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. Just the uphill battle. Can't say enough about trying to get along with not having your weapons a second game in a row. They create a game plan. Does it work out perfectly? Well, no, because you're missing all these major pieces. There's a point where injuries are reasons, not excuses. And I wish people would have a little bit more, I don't know, patience isn't the word, but just understanding that an injury to this player, an injury to that player don't have the same impact. There's no way that we can predict what this game or last game would have been with the pieces that we were missing. These last two games could be, double-digit wins, right? And it would lean that way more than loss today or a worse loss last week. I don't know how you could argue that we wouldn't be looking really, really good if we have all of our pieces. Every team can say that kind of thing, but I'm not concerned about every team. I'm concerned about our team. Trying to find out what our young players are like when we don't have a lot of our veterans there. It's such a muddled, vision of what we really are. If we can escape 2 out of 3 games with wins, I don't see how we can't just be happy looking at what it is and saying a win is a win, and let's keep going. We're coming right back Thursday this week. I'm about halfway through the game. I thought, I wonder if that's why a lot of guys didn't go today so that they're ready Thursday. If that's the case, I really like that strategy because this Thursday's divisional game is worth more than today's game in the long run. So, hats off to coaches and the staff to say, all right, we have to figure out what we're going to do with 2 games coming in 5 days. And if that was the reason that they chose to sit a bunch of those guys, that's a bigger concern than what we, fans have just looking at what's in front of us. So I'm thinking about that too as we celebrate.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a big win. It was a big win. And you got to give credit in that second half that they, there was times I didn't agree with them throwing so much, right? I think they went 3 and out that first drive in the third quarter. And if I remember correctly, I have to look at my notes here. It was close to a 3 and out, I believe. Horrible 4th down throw there to Taylor. That was a little bit later, which that right there, they were saying that was a miscommunication. It was definitely a miscommunication, but they were putting it all on Taylor's got to run a hitch there. He's got to run a hitch there. And I'm going, if he runs a hitch there, the DB breaks it up. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but that was supposed to be a smoke screen in my eyes. There was something built into the play that, hey, if they're playing off, let's run a smoke. And Jordan throws it kind of in between where a hitch would be and where the smoke route would be. Again, miscommunication, but if that's Aaron Jones too, it probably doesn't happen, right? Probably doesn't happen, but
no, I agree with that. I think, and I haven't looked at it either. What I saw was Doubs went inside and one of the coverage guys went with him, and Taylor had about 3 or 4 yards. It looked like clear sailing in front of him. And I think Jordan just said, hey, why are we just converting this 4th down? Why don't we just go for the whole thing? And they were at a situation in the game where going for the whole thing, if it's right there, he should do it. And I just think the communication was not the immediate communication.
Yeah.
Did Taylor run to a first down area? Well, yeah. Is that a good idea? Sure, but it's not a great idea. Great idea is just to score the thing and start putting this thing away. So 7 points, or at least 7, around 7 points, right there. So, yeah, I mean, they got themselves into position to be really good.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it because I didn't see it like that at all. I thought there was a defender right there that was just going to make the tackle.
There might have been one. If there was one, he was out of the view of the screen when they showed the replay. What's with the poor replays? I don't want to jump on. They were replaying Derek Carr walking back to the to the tunnel instead of showing things like there was a penalty. Where was the penalty?
They had an 11-yard Keyshawn Nixon run that they never did one single replay on, and I'm like, why?
He got geared for the casuals. That's all it is. Everything's geared for the casual. Like it's like and these announcers, these color commentary, like it's like, I know it's not what they're thinking because some of them are former players. This is production crews that are saying, hey, look, we got to create a story here. There's got to be a story we got to tell during. No, shut up. Call the game, show us the details of the game, get out of the way. It's the thing I hate about sports media is like they think they're bigger than the game. We're not tuning in to hear how smart you are. We're not tuning in to hear how cool you are. Like show the game, tell us what happens in the game, and get out of the way. That's what made, and people still can't figure it out. It blows my mind. That's what made Pat Summerall the voice of the NFL. Pat Summerall would literally go, 1st and 10, Love back. The crowd would go nuts, and he'd go, 1st down completion, Jordan Love with the strike. And it's like, we're watching the game. You know what I'm saying? They're not going, I'll tell you what, I was talking to Jordan earlier this week, and he was telling me he had a hangnail last week, and we're going to see if this guy can overcome it. It's like, shut up. Nobody cares that you got to hang out with the coaches and the players. I don't mean to be like that. Drives me insane. The game is good enough without you pretending to be so smart. Anyway,
commentary.
That's all your fault too, Andy.
No, commentary should be complimentary.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So if you just put those 2 words there, right? If it's narrative, go write a book.
Exactly.
Okay. But seeing that you can't string 2, normal words together when you speak, I don't even want to see your writing style. Maybe you should just become a graffiti artist or something. I don't know. Move to Chicago.
Move to Chicago.
Take 2 weeks off and quit.
There it is. There it is. That's what we were looking for right there.
You think God never farted?
Go ahead, Andy. What were you saying?
Let's say I had a good time today. I'm in the middle of packing up and mowing the lawn. I'll try not to do this at the same time, and I'll be talking to you guys after the game. Looking forward to it. I won't be at the game, but I'll be yelling loud enough that hopefully they can hear me in the stadium.
Love it, dude. Love it.
See you guys.
Safe travels, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks.
Andy. Still stuck in Kansas. We got a super chat here from Andy A. Pack. Says, how about that team 0 quit? Dude, big team win. I can't wait to see the locker room videos, to be honest with you, man. That's going to be freaking epic. All right, let's move along. Jacob, give us something else you learned during the game, maybe something that stood out to you. Anything come to mind?
Yeah, just real quick because I had to look. Mike Hebring, I couldn't believe it. The Dolphins put up 70 points today and had 726 yards of offense. Just absolute. And you talk about a boat, right? I mean, anybody you played in fantasy that had any other players today, you're losing. So that's fun. No, but we talked about it just real briefly. Randomly, we threw in a Keyshawn Nixon offensive play. I did not get to see it because when I looked up, I just been taking a bite out of my whatever the heck I was eating at the time, and I looked up and I'm like, "Who get an interception?" And they're like, no, Keyshawn Nixon's on offense. And I was like, oh, well, surely they're going to replay it because that never happens. It's never once happened. And we've been talking about this as a possibility for the last 2 years. And then, nope, they just talked like you said. Oh, just talking about, I don't know, whatever Jonathan Vilma was talking some stupid crap. And then so we didn't get a chance to replay it. So I'm going to specifically want to see that, what formation they were in, what that led to. And then I'm just more excited about Kenny Clark had that sack. I just thought the defense in general, it looked worse I thought then people really were starting to freak out. And it's just because of that. I hate saying bend but don't break, but we were in there. I mean, we were poised in positions that we needed to be. I think the defense had a decent pass rush. I'm anxious to see the PFF grades because I don't really quite know. I'm really kind of nervous about having Devondre Campbell out now, in addition to if something's really wrong with Valentine, because we've already went through a lot of injuries for what I thought was a pretty injury-free preseason. We just all of a sudden kind of got peppered in with some really major ones. So like Andy talked about, I really do hope that this is us just being just us being very precautious. My conspiracy theory still is kind of holding true because if you think,
oh my God, it is. Hey, what's funny is Split Screen Gaming, here in the chat, he says, "Where's Jacob's conspiracy?" Haha. He actually sent me an updated video of the intro for Jacob's Conspiracy Corner. So we need to play that sometime. Today's not the day. We'll do it for another show, but he did a good job with it, man. He tied in the remember earlier in the year, it was, I think, in the preseason when TJ Slayton did the Gravedigger and he looked back. He literally played him looking back, and then it showed the clip of Bigfoot looking.
Hey, did you see he did the Gravedigger on the first play today?
He did it today?
Yes.
Oh, God,
I'm talking first of all, that game started, it was like my dream. Like I always tell you, we defer. You get the ball, you come out, we 3-and-out you right out of the gate. And put our offense on the field and get the ball in the second half. Well, on that first, I believe it was the first snap on defense, first snap of the game, they tried to run and he blew up the run and he got up and he did the Gravedigger right out of the gate, first play.
That's freaking awesome. I'm going to try to share the screen here because it's rare that Rashan Gary goes to the podium, but we got a little Rashan Gary. So let's see if we can hear it. Everybody crank your volume up because I can't take it I can't crank it up anymore. Let's see if we can hear him here. You guys can see this, right?
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got here, gang.
To be honest with you, I gotta go back, watch the tape. Off the top of my head, there's a couple of rushes I wish I would have had back. Maybe I could have been an impact, but in terms of an overall group, I got to go back, study the film, and get to it.
Sean, how's it feel just personally to have a 3-sack game like that and come out at the same time?
The most important thing, man, is being an impact to this team, and I'm happy I was able to do that today.
Let's go.
What do you think it does for your quarterback to so early in his time as a starter to lead a big comeback like this?
That's just who Jay Love is, man. I've been seeing him since year one. His confidence been building, and y'all know he was behind Aaron, a Hall of Famer. So just having, seeing some of his mannerisms and seeing, when the game is like that, how he's keeping everybody up, how he's keeping everybody, locked in and focused and making sure we're on our keys, man. He's a true leader, and I'm just happy that, he was able to get us this win and just his progression.
Sean, I'm not sure you'd call him an emotional player, but he was pretty emotional after scoring the touchdown. Were you surprised to see any of that with him?
No, not at all, man. He's our leader as a team, and he's emotional every day. It's just y'all don't get to see it. He's very passionate, and he loves seeing his teammates do good, especially executing the right way. And that's something that he stressed to the offense, defense, and special teams.
Rashan, how important was it for your defense to get this win, even without Jair Alexander out on the field?
It was important. Having guys out like Ja, that's a major impact, to this defense that helped us tremendously. Having a guy like that out, we had no choice but to step up, and that's what everybody did. One thing about this group is we understand the standard. We understand what it's like to play at a high level. We just got to be consistent, and today is just a stepping stone to being consistent.
What do you think a win like this does for your entire team moving forward?
Make us 2-1, and on to next week. Short week.
Yeah.
Still an early season.
Rashan, what are you guys thinking when you walk off the field and they're going out there to kick the field goal? Just what's kind of in your mind at that point?
What, to tie the game or to win it? You're talking about out there. Just to, play our position, man. If we're able to, block the punt, man. That's really it, man. Make it uncomfortable, make it a hard kick as we can make it.
What was the locker room like afterward?
Everybody, of course, after going to war like that for 60 minutes and coming out on top, everybody's in a good mood. But one thing I could say, we're already focused on next week. So, we probably going to enjoy this win for like an hour and already to next week, short week.
Seriously, I thought you guys pulled off here and give yourself an hour to enjoy it.
So yeah, we already locked in, talked as a team, and we got an hour to enjoy. Short week, trying to get to it.
Yeah.
All right. So we got kind of the gist there, man. I love that guy, dude.
Gary.
Give him the freaking bag. Give him the bag already. My goodness.
Him and Jordan. Let's just do it right now. Let's just do it tomorrow.
Sell some stock. I'll buy another piece of stock. Do it now. Do it now. I love it, man. What'd you think about that, Tim?
It fires me up, man. It fires me up. You're right. We get a special treat once in a while with Rashan at the podium. He oh my gosh.
Oh, where do you see this? Where do you see this? Look at this, boys. Y'all ready? Green Bay, the Packers tweeted this out and just put mood. Look, let's go, dude. Flexing on them. God. I love it. Absolutely love it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
Oh my goodness. Just this is like I said, man, this team just came together. We just witnessed it. We just saw this team galvanize together. Adversity is an understatement. I mean, you're down 17 points. You know, you're down multiple. First of all, we haven't seen this team at a full strength yet this year. Yet. And so going into this game, they're not full strength. Then as the game progresses, you know, it's looking really, really bad. And we have guys that are going down. And this team did not blink. And we could see it happen there, kind of late third quarter. You started to see little changes. And, you know, this team refused to lose at home, and it makes me so proud. I talked about this all week. I talked about this all preseason. Divisional games are obviously important, but so is winning at home. And I wanted to see a home victory, especially in J-Love's, you know, first year as the new starter, man. Like, could you ask for a better outcome to such a crummy start to a game? I mean, incredible.
Absolutely awesome. I'm telling you, it was September 24th, 1992 all over again. And I'm not saying Love's going to be a Hall of Famer, but that was the kind of come from behind victory. You know, Brett Favre played absolutely cheeks that entire game, right? Fumbled, throwing the ball all over the place, running all over the joint, had no idea what was going on with the offense. And then the fourth quarter, just put together 2 drives and won the freaking game. But here's rookie defensive lineman Kobe Wooden after the game real quick as he's walking off the Lambeau.
Yeah, J-Love, let's get it. Hey, first win in Lambeau. Hey, first of many to come. Let's get it.
He sounded like the Joker, didn't he? That little laugh at the end, man. I love it. Love it. Jacob, what else you got, brother?
I was looking. Can you fact check this? The Badger Trio says that. Where was it? Just here. It says Jordan Love just had the biggest fourth quarter comeback in franchise history. Is that true? Did we just watch that?
For real? I have no way of knowing how to fact check that, to be honest.
Let's get Cliff Crystal on line 2, please.
Yeah, I got him right here. Let me call him. We're good buddies. I wish. Man.
I mean, if that's true, that's amazing, and I guess it kind of makes sense because was that a 18 or 17 point comeback just in the fourth? I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than encouraging. I can't say. I mean, like Tim talked about the beginning of that game, like the actual very start. Winning the kick, going 3 and out. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then after that, it really looked, and I don't know why, but I had this weird calm. I just ordered some more food, sat there, just kind of took it in stride. I never eat like a lot when I'm watching a game because I get so nervous. My nerves start going. I don't know why. I just thought in my head, I just kind of said, well, if we're going to have a decent game and if we don't come out with a win, then at least we're going into a divisional matchup next week where we're going to have more of our starters. Then all of a sudden, like I said, man, it just, once that tide turned and once that momentum shift kind of came through, it was like, okay, we got this. And it's like, we've talked about how young this team is. It's almost like they don't know enough to be depressed or to be discouraged or to have anything. They've got this college football mentality, whereas it's like, give me the ball. If we get the ball last, we can do something with it. And it's almost like we see that on both sides of the ball, which is we haven't had that in a long time. We haven't had that kind of like, I'm not going to say anything bad about Rodgers or the Packers teams of old, but there was this kind of, we've all seen it. If things went south in the first 2 or 3 drives, you could basically watch the body moment, the body posture, the physical, you know, the way that the eye rolls, the breathing under your breath, the kind of sort of snapping at each other. Whereas this team seems like they just get more aggressive. They get more dialed in. They get more excited to go back out there and maybe prove them wrong. So I'm excited.
They pick each other up. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Definitely. Let's go. We had the coach at the podium. Let's see what Coach Lafleur had to say here real quick, fellas, as he leaves the podium.
Matt. See you later, Matt.
Prison Matt.
Overcame them. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
There's no way to rewind it yet. Sorry, fellas. There it is. He said,
Thank you very much.
So you know why they call me Prison Matt?
Overcame
And he
them.
left.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
That's it. All right. Yeah, we can't do anything about it. All right. We'll come back to it. Let's see here in the chat. Biggest comeback since, let's see, right here. Split screen game. I believe the last time we came back this much was the Khalil Mack game. My knee. Let's see here. I think we have that actually.
My knee.
What did we call it, Jacob?
Isn't that the what do you call it?
Perk game. It's the perk game.
Perk game.
I don't know if we get monetized for that.
Love it. Yeah, we probably will, of all things, right? You know, Pharma got to get their every dime. You know how that works.
Murph said that it is the first. It ties for the first with the Bears and Rodgers. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So
we'll just call it the my knee game for future reference. Just to, we all know what it's really called, though.
Love it. All right, man. That says Barstool Sports has an article about it already, so they get that queued up.
Here we go.
Good deal, man. All right, cool. We'll make sure we check that out and go support those guys. All right, let's look at the stats. I'm going to do one quick run through the stats. We'll go back and see if anybody else is at the podium after that, and then we'll get ready to wrap this big bear up. So on the offensive side of the ball, Jordan Love, 22 of 44 for 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, had a rating of 66.4, okay? Let's see. Rushing, Jordan Love led the team with 9 carries, 39 yards, 4.3 a pop, 1 touchdown. His longest run was 24 yards. You guys seen him tiptoe up the sideline. Great boundary awareness there. A.J. Dillon, 11 carries for 33 yards, only 3 yards a pop. Again, I don't like them trying to use him laterally. You had 1 rush by Keyshawn Nixon for 11 yards. The play worked, but I'm going to be honest. When they did it, I went, why are we being cute? Why are we doing this? Yeah. But again, 11 yards, hard to argue with it. Receiving wise, Romeo Doubs led the team with 73 yards on 5 catches, had a touchdown catch as well, had 12 targets though. So was targeted almost twice as much as Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed was targeted 7 times, had 3 catches for 63 yards, averaged 21 yards a catch. Jaden Reed did. Luke Musgrave, this is the one I'm most excited about, to be honest with you. 8 targets, 6 catches, 49 yards, 8 yards a catch. Dontavian Wicks, 6 targets, 4 receptions for 45 yards, 11.3 yards per catch. Then, of course, Patrick Taylor, a pleasant surprise there, other than the miscommunication on 4th down, had 3 catches for 23 yards. So, just a free ad for somebody there. You know how it is. So anyway, back to the stats. We had, let's see, like I said, Patrick Taylor, 3 catches for 23 yards. On defense, Rudy Ford led the way, 7 tackles, 2 passes defended. 1 could have been a pick. I think Rudy had a pretty decent game. I think you'll see that with PFF. Probably be somewhere in the high 60s, low 70s would be my guess. Darnell Savage, 7 tackles, had a great open field tackle there late in the game. Quay Walker, 7 tackles. Isaiah McDuffie, 6 tackles. For those of you who don't know, if you're just tuning in, Devondre Campbell left with an ankle injury, so Isaiah McDuffie plugged in for him. Corey Ballantyne, who was elevated last night or earlier today, I can't remember. He came in place of Carrington Valentine, who was playing in place of Jair Alexander. But Carrington Valentine had 4 tackles and 1 pass defended. Kenny Clark had himself a day, I think, 4 tackles. 3 of them were solo, 1 tackle for a loss, and he also had actually had a sack and a quarterback hit, which was a phenomenal day there for him. Kingsley Enagbare, another quarterback hit. I'll tell you, he had a tackle for a loss too. He was in the backfield quite a bit today. We did shut their run down. That was exciting to see. Taysom Hill didn't look like he was interested in running anymore there late in the 4th because they were smacking that dude around every time he kept it. But again, Rashan Gary, defensive player of the day, probably the MVP of the entire game with 4 quarterback hits, 3 of which were sacks. Also had 3 tackles for a loss, 3 tackles there for him. So pretty good day all the way around. I want to point this out too, Tim. Anders Carlson, 1 for 1 on field goals, right? And then, of course, hit the extra point as well. Is our guy still perfect on the year? Am I thinking right?
Yep.
Yeah, he is. he sure is. And again,
out there, right? he's perfect.
I love he's got an interesting approach because he even on kickoffs, it doesn't look like he's real aggressive as he addresses the ball and approaches, but that swing and that kick he's got leg behind it. And even on the extra point, that single point we needed to win this game, it was probably 3 centimeters from being blocked or tipped at the line. Somebody got a hand up there. And again, when you have a kicker that's got a strong leg and can get that extra half an inch of elevation underneath the kick, even on something as quote unquote routine as an extra point, it's a good asset to have. So I'm happy that we calm down a little bit and let's see how he continues to build,
Yeah, no doubt. Emilio had a great question here in the chat. He said, what are we going to do about Patrick Taylor? He used up his 3 come-ups. So they've called him up 3 times from the practice squad already. So if you send him back down, he has to be cut outright, to the best of my knowledge. Okay. So with that being said, I think you leave him on the active roster, and I think you send Emmanuel Wilson down. Obviously, you're planning on Aaron Jones being healthy now. There may be, at times there's a little bit of flexibility there with the total roster that you carry 4 running backs, but I don't know how you guys feel. Jacob, I'll ask you first, man. I don't like the idea of cutting Patrick Taylor. I think he played really well today.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't think that I'd say that going into the year, but we've seen just how important that little extra bit of pass protection too, which we don't necessarily think about that. We always think about what can he do, but even in the skill set wise, remember he caught that ball and he did a little stop step, let the defender rush past him, and then he went upfield for another 4 or 5 yards. So the guy actually showed that he can make and make a play with the ball in his hand. And obviously he would have liked to have that, what I thought, like Tim said, was probably a walk-in touchdown, or maybe Andy said that. But I would like to see that too. Let's play chess, not checkers. It's smarter to everybody likes to see Wilson. He's a UDFA rookie. We've got a little more time to develop him. Let's start playing the better guy. And I think that Patrick Taylor showed that he is, I believe, the better guy for sure. And then one other thing real quick. She said, Murph brought it up. How did we let that touchdown to Jimmy Graham? Talk about putting a finger in your eye, man. That was rough. That one made me more mad.
And Rasul was draped over him too. Tim.
It
was decent coverage, but that's what Jimmy Graham does, man. He's what in the late 2000s, or I'm sorry, the early 2010s, I should say. Something that kind of took the league by storm was what they called that bully slot, which is a bigger receiver, whether it's a tight end or a larger wide receiver. They like to put them in the slot, kind of bully those nickel backs around, and that's what you've seen there in the red zone. But how'd that make you feel, Tim? Did you miss old Jimmy Graham when he tried to do the Lambeau leap there?
No, and kudos on buying beers for all those fans that shoved them back into the field. That was great. I want to identify them and buy them daddy sodas immediately, if they're of age, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and then we had the great Fox analysis of former Packer Jimmy Graham, as if any of us really want to remember those days too much. I think most people would agree that you would associate Jimmy Graham with the Saints. Yeah. Regardless of the fact that he came back this year or whatever, like that, Saints or a Seahawk, maybe. I don't know if Packers is the first thing we think of from that glorious season that we had with him. But I don't know, man. I'm just excited for this team. I agree with you guys on the Emmanuel Wilson and Patrick Taylor. I do like Emmanuel Wilson, but I think because of how the roster rules are set and how the situation we're in, I think that's the no-brainer decision. Emmanuel Wilson to me looks more like I don't want to say pure running back, but he's more of he's not going to give you that pass pro that you're going to get with Taylor, and he's not going to give you that versatility you're going to get as a pass catcher either. But I do like Wilson. He had a couple of nice runs today, and I do think that I've always said with him, I feel like we need to like if you're thinking of pulling him out, keep him out there one more snap, give him one more rep, or go to him one more time, and let's just see what we get. Because I feel like just when he gets his legs under him and gets going for us and gets some momentum, we tend to get away from him, and we're seeing too much personnel swapping. I know it's running back by committee when there's no Aaron Jones, because we know, A.J. Dillon, combined with this run blocking that we have, we can't lean on that. So we have to lean on Taylor. We have to lean on Wilson. But I think going forward, Taylor's going to be the right choice there.
No doubt. My goodness, boys. Y'all may have mentioned it earlier. I don't know, but the Dolphins beat the Broncos 70-20.
Yeah, dude. Watch out, AFC. Miami's for real. They're for real this year.
No doubt. Let's go to the podium. We had Jordan Love there a few minutes ago. Let's just get a couple minutes of Jordan Love. You good with that, Jacob?
Of course. Yep.
All right, here we go.
Great. That's all I can say. Feels great.
Jordan, what are you thinking after that 4th and 2 pass to PT in the flat falls incomplete? Are you thinking, that
here we
was our
go.
best
Here's
shot,
the Patrick Taylor pass.
We did all this. What was kind of the mood on the sideline after that one?
Yeah, no, that was frustrating. We put a great drive together. Decided to go for it right there, and came up empty-handed. So it definitely sucked. Going back to the sideline after that one. But to your point, nobody batted eye, nobody flinched. We knew there was still time.
No blame whatsoever.
Should you have thrown that to him on the spot? Or
no blame whatsoever, which tells me it was probably on Patrick Taylor. Now they're asking the follow-up.
Listen to this. Yeah. Oh, can we get a little more drama?
Yeah. Can we try to get you to say something bad about your receiver so we can go write an article and say, what a selfish prick. Here we go.
Or should he have kept going on that play?
It was just miscommunication between both of us.
Both of us.
We'll see it on film and see what happened exactly.
Gotta love this guy.
I mean, y'all were getting into safe territory pretty much all day and couldn't finish drives. What changed those last 3 series?
Yeah, I think we were just going 2-minute mode, going a little bit faster, and taking some more shots downfield. And we were getting a lot of man-to-man coverage, and receivers were just capitalizing on those opportunities right there and making plays for us. So yeah.
Jordan, those 2 catches.
You mean to tell me when someone plays man coverage, it makes you want to pass against it? Huh. I thought we wanted to run man coverage.
Like every single time he canned today, he was doing better with his cans. He was canning to runs at the right time and canning to the pass at the right time.
Yeah, definitely.
By Reed on the sideline and then Romeo in the end zone. Special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I mean, those guys are special. They made some great plays when we needed it most. And that's a credit to everybody. It wasn't perfect a lot of that game, but, guys never flinched, and they showed out and showed up and made plays at the end.
How hard was it to come back from 17 down in the 4th quarter?
Yeah, it's very hard. Especially you haven't done what you wanted all game, especially offensively. We hurt ourselves more than we helped ourselves. And then just to be able to stay poised and stay confident in what we're doing and just have that next play mentality. But it's not easy. It's a total team win right there. Everybody's got to, step up and make plays, and we did it on all phases at the end.
I love it, dude. I love it. That's a freaking leader. You absorb criticism and redistribute praise. Period. Case closed. Love that guy. Absolutely love him. All right, so we hit on all the stats. Why don't we do this, man? Jacob, say something smart while I key up the wheel. We're going to try to give away this jersey tonight, dude. Say something smart.
I mean, I guess the only thing that I would think of is we talked about how there was, in my opinion, I have not seen a lot of that Jets motion that I keep expecting. I'm wondering if, like how Matt Lafleur was very kind of kept his cards close to the chest in the preseason. I wondered if he's kind of holding a lot of that stuff for when Watson is back in the lineup. We have Aaron Jones. We're going up against a divisional opponent, because it seems like we just haven't used a lot of that, even though we have still the people in place. The other thing I'll say is that Torrey, I don't know what I thought about him this game. I know he had one crucial catch, but him and Wicks, I just want him to step up a little bit more, just a little more. I think they made pretty good plays for being young receivers, but I need them to play a little better.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's do it. Let's throw it on here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give this thing away, guys. It's going to happen. We're going to spin it 3 times, okay? Obviously, the first winner will get the autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey. If they don't claim the prize, the second winner will then get the jersey. If they don't claim the prize, then we'll go to the third. Hopefully, we can give this thing away because, again, I called for the previous winner all week long. Hadn't heard from her. So let's spin this thing. You ready, Jacob?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So at the leaderboard in first place, first opportunity to claim the Lucas Van Ness autographed jersey is
Big money, big money.
Oh, it's so close, AJJ. All right. Write it down. Write it down. All right. Let's spin it again now. Okay. If AJJ doesn't come forward and claim the jersey, the next in line will be Tom. Tom. Good old Tom. Tom. All right. And then the third one will
Hey,
be
AJJ's here. He's already here.
Is he here? My man.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even spin it. We shouldn't even spin it then. All right, cool. Tucker H is like, what the heck, AJJ? All right, so AJJ is in the house, right?
Look at that.
Good stuff. All right, AJJ, do me a favor, man. Shoot me an email, okay? PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. All right. And what we'll do is I'll have you just do a couple of quick checks to make sure it's you. I've already got screenshots of everybody's profile pic and all that good stuff. So we'll have a way to confirm it. But if you'll shoot me an email real quick, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com, we'll get your address, all that good stuff, and we'll get that autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey mailed off to you. It's just like the one right here over my shoulder. And, yeah, man, congratulations. Do appreciate you being a YouTube member of the PTA Posse. We appreciate everything you do to support us, just like all the other YouTube members. And for those, everybody else in the PTA Posse, up next is going to be an autographed John Kuhn jersey. All right. So we'll be giving that one away. And then next in line, a little later in the season, probably a few weeks after that, is going to be Hall of Famer Mr. Paul Hornung autographed jersey. So that's going to be a really sweet one there. So, AJJ, thank you so much for supporting, dude. And look at everybody congratulating him in the chat, man. I absolutely love our listeners, dude. You guys are awesome. All right. As we get ready to wrap this big bear up, Tim, any parting thoughts, man? We got a Lions game coming up, short week. I think it's safe to say that we're going to be as healthy as we've been all year long. I'm eager to see the injuries that we sustained today, obviously to see how serious they were. But anything you got to say here before we wrap this post-game show up, man?
I will be in the building for Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to this game. Yes, it looks like we might be as close to full strength. We're going to get some big pieces back. I'm excited. I'm with Rashan Gary. We're on to the next matchup already. We're gonna celebrate and be excited for an hour, and then we go into our prep for a divisional game at home. One last thing I wanted to say is throughout this game, what stuck out to me, you kind of touched on this earlier, was Rasul Douglas, other than one stupid hold on a special teams play, was absolutely consistent all day. Even when we were playing bad in the first half, Rasul was a tackling machine. He was playing the quarters properly. He was in the right space. We saw Darnell Savage consistently playing up to his name and playing like a savage out there today, which was great. And Preston Smith as well seemed to hold, contain and hold the edge well today. So we did see some consistency in there, even during the tough times, which is what you build on when you're losing a ball game. And that's how you pull out wins like this, is build off those small things that you were doing well. So it was good to see that from our defense today.
Absolutely. Very well said. Jacob, what do you got, buddy? Parting thoughts here, man.
Man, I'm just excited all the way around. Like I said, I did not expect this win, and to have it happen the way it did, I think it just builds some of that momentum that really isn't quantifiable. Like the bonding they had for them. This is Jordan Love's first game at Lambeau as a starter, first touchdown pass in Lambeau regular season, first rushing touchdown in Lambeau. I think this is now 3 weeks in a row that the Packers have beat the spread, that people aren't expecting a lot from them, and they're consistently overcoming that adversity. I think that they're getting this chip on their shoulder, like, hey, we can do this. And even though that obviously one of the wins is against the Bears, they're an NFL team. I really think this is a quality win. You could put an asterisk if you want that they didn't have Derek Carr, but last week was a really good, solid, loss if that exists. It was a hard fought game that we probably had no business of even being in. We were. And so I just think that right now, and we're going into a stretch here where we go Lions, Raiders, bye week, at Broncos versus Vikings. We have a stretch there where we could really start stacking a good solid amount of wins. And, to come, if anybody sat here and told you that after 3 weeks that we'd be 2-1 with a chance to go 3-1, like Badger Trio saying right down there, I think that I'd be smiling ear to ear, man, because that's basically what we talked about, having a 10-win season. And if you guys remember, I was Mr. Banging that drum that 10 wins seems like a little shallow because this team has some potential. We're already on our way to we could be 4-0 easily going into 4 weeks. So right now I'm very happy with the 2-1 record. I think that 3-1 is very easily attainable. Not easily, but we're going to have to play a good game. But I'm more confident now than I have been all season because I've seen what finally we've put on the field. And, man, it feels good to see these young guys actually performing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That rebound there in the second half was absolutely awesome. What's crazy is we haven't played a complete game yet. We haven't. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I would say we haven't played 80% of a complete game yet, to be honest with you.
Yep.
They put that together against the Lions. I think it's going to be a good game. And that is at Lambeau, right, fella? Check your schedule there, Jacob.
Yep.
Because we know Tim's going to be in the house, baby.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, man. Thanks, Larry in the chat says, thanks again, guys, for the show. It's certainly sweeter with the win. Go, Pack, go, man. You're always so positive and uplifting, Larry. We appreciate you more than you know, buddy. Look, this right here puts it into perspective, like you said, Jacob, split screen game and 1 point from being undefeated.
That's right.
Back in the McCarthy days, Emilio just hit the nail on the head. Exactly what I was getting ready to say, Emilio. He said 3-1 every quarter of the season. McCarthy used to say it all the time. You break the season down into quarters. Obviously, there's an odd quarter now with there being an extra game, but he would say you're looking to go 3-1 each quarter, right? You look up at the end of the year, and you got a playoff spot locked up. You're ready to roll. That's the way you treat it.
This win is going to prove clutch, and when we look back on the season, because how huge is that to lose by a point in Atlanta, and then you come back and you grab this win, and kudos to our defense. Again, I'm going to bang the defense drum all day. Yeah. Because it was their game. It was their game to go out there and finish when it really boiled down to it today, and it was just great to see them get it done.
Yeah, definitely. You didn't see a whole lot of blown coverages today. They played up to their potential, and I think Joe Barry called one heck of a game. Listen, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like the Saints are a powerhouse, but you catch those 2 interceptions last week, we're 3-0 right now. You got to give Joe Barry credit. You do. And there may be times this year where we can't, right? Maybe more times than not that we can't give credit. But right now, he's calling a heck of a game on defense, and he's mixing in just like he did last year with the cover one man. But, yeah, man, it's going to be an exciting season for sure. All right, guys, we appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I want to give a special shout-out to Mike Hebring, Joyce, Garrett Stritzel, Mike Hebring again, and then Andy APAC. Thank you guys so much for the super chat. We appreciate you guys supporting the stream. And, again, congratulations to AJJ on winning the autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey. And we will be back tomorrow for Packers Total Access Live. We'll get a few – I don't know how much of an injury update we'll have. They're kind of secretive with that stuff, but we'll kind of recap the game. I'll talk to Jacob and Tim offline here and see if we want to do Chalk Talk as the Packers Total Access Live tomorrow night. I may mix it in with an extra episode, but this is going to be a fun Chalk Talk to do. I have a feeling that 90% of the plays we're going to cover is going to be in the fourth quarter. That's it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome. So, again, thank you to everyone in the chat. For those of you that are listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Tell the tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, you drive down the first man to his inside. Pull back and kill him. Take the first man outside the offensive tackle. No one shows. Go right by them and field inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.